The city never sleeps, but Michael hasn't truly lived for months. Once, he was one of New York's brightest architects, designing glass towers that touched the sky. But dreams can shatter fast. When his firm went bankrupt, so did everything he believed about himself. The phone stopped ringing, friends disappeared, and the silence in his apartment grew louder than any city noise. Now he sits on the edge of his bed, holding an eviction notice. His eyes trace the bold red letters, "Final Warning." Morning light creeps across the room, revealing dust and unopened mail. Michael drags himself to the bathroom and stares into the mirror. The man staring back doesn't look like an architect, just a broken version of one. "Who are you without success?" he whispers. His reflection doesn't answer. Only the sound of running water fills the void. Later that day, he wanders into a small cafe. The smell of fresh coffee feels like a faint reminder of better days. Behind the counter is Claire, a young barista with warm eyes and a contagious smile. She looks at him closely. "You're Michael Reed, right? The guy who designed the Liberty Tower?" He freezes. "Yeah, used to." "You made something beautiful," she says simply, handing him his coffee. Her words sting and heal at the same time. The next day, Michael returns to the cafe. Claire greets him with the same cheerful grin. As they talk, she asks, "If you could build anything again, what would it be?" He chuckles bitterly. "Doesn't matter. No one would hire me now." But she presses on gently. "Forget the money. What would you build just because it matters?" Michael stares at the table, lost in thought. Finally, he says quietly, "A place that gives people hope." That night, Michael opens a drawer and finds his old sketchbook, buried under bills and dust. He flips through faded pages, skyscrapers, museums, bridges, the ghosts of who he used to be. Slowly, he picks up his pencil. At first, his hand trembles. Then, as lines begin to form, the world around him fades away. For the first time in months, he feels alive again. A week later, Michael walks past an empty lot in a struggling neighborhood. Cracked sidewalks, rusted fences, kids playing soccer with a plastic bottle. He stops. This is it. He sketches right there on the curb. Benches, trees, a playground, a little fountain shaped like a sunrise. Soon, he's at the local community center, pitching his idea to anyone who'll listen. A few volunteers agree to help. No money, no investors, just faith. But faith doesn't pay for permits. The city denies his application. Materials cost more than expected. Some volunteers quit. Michael sits on the half-built park bench one night, drenched in rain, wondering if he's foolish to try again. But then he hears laughter. The same kids playing soccer under the streetlight. Their joy, small but real, reminds him why he started. He wipes his face and whispers, "Not this time, I won't give up." One morning, Claire bursts into his workshop with her phone in hand. "Michael, look!" On the screen is a news headline. "Former architect rebuilds hope, one park at a time." A local journalist had written about his project after seeing the sketches pinned to the fence. By the end of the week, donations start flowing in. Construction companies offer leftover materials. Strangers show up with gloves and shovels. What began as one man's redemption turns into a community's mission. Months later, the park is complete. The fountain glistens in the sunlight, surrounded by trees, laughter, and life. Michael stands at the ribbon, scissors in hand, unsure if he deserves to be there. Claire joins him, smiling. "You built something that matters," she says softly. As the crowd counts down, 3, 2, 1, he cuts the ribbon. Children run through the grass, their joy echoing through the city. Michael closes his eyes. The sound is louder than any applause. The next morning, sunlight spills through his apartment window. The sketchbook lies open on his desk, filled with new ideas, not for towers, but for places that heal. He brews a cup of coffee and looks out over the city that once broke him. This time, he doesn't see failure. He sees a second chance, a second sunrise. Sometimes life tears everything down, not to destroy us, but to give us the chance to build again, stronger, kinder, and with purpose.